Okay, so we are ready to get started this morning. We are doing a series on the elimination of busyness. I forgot what exactly we've named it. Colton, do you remember what you've named it?
No, I forgot.
Okay. We are trying to eliminate busyness is what we are trying to do. We're trying to go back to just the basics, the simple life before we did all the hurrying, which I feel like that's all we do is hurry. Hurry from one place to another. We don't have time to be still. We wonder why we're always tired and always stressed. Well, because we're just hurrying. Last week I said hurry is the great enemy of the spiritual life in our day. Hurrying is what has killed us spiritually. And I'm hoping that we're going to fix this. The hurry disease is an insidious and diabolical pathogen from the devil. It is a disease, in other words, straight from Satan. By succumbing to the hurry disease, we cut ourselves off from the presence of God and make it near impossible to love deeply and experience the peace and joy of the kingdom. Simply put, love, joy, and peace are incompatible with hurry. You cannot be in a hurry and have love, joy, and peace. You think you can? All right. Be 10 minutes late getting out the door for work. Find out how peaceful you are, how full of joy, and how much love you have for that person that will not go more than 20 miles an hour in front of you. Right? It's the truth. It's kind of crazy that we have been talking about this, the elimination of hurry. Get rid of busy in our life. Stop being in a hurry. It means you're going to have to cut some things out of your life. Probably going to have to cut some people out of your life. And that is going to be very, very hard. Especially for people like my personality and we're fixers. It's really hard to say no and try not to fix everybody. But I cannot fix anybody. He is the one who fixes everybody. And if I am not fixed myself, if I don't work on Deidre, I am no good to anybody else. And I think most of y'all who know me know that is true. Tuesday night on the way home from church, I was reminded again, and I'm like, God, are you just like kind of bringing it to my mind and showing me things? We were on our way home. Shyla and I decided not to go eat after church on Tuesday night. I was tired. She was tired. We'd worked all day and we thought we're just going to run through a drive-through McDonald's. I love Big Macs. I hope my husband doesn't watch this. It's bad for me, I know, but I love them. I don't have them very often, but when I'm stressed and in a hurry, that's what I do. Anyway, and so we were on our way home and we're on River Oaks Road and I see brake lights in front of me. So I'm like, oh wow, there's going to be something going on a little ways ahead of me. It's a 2-lane road and I pull up and I'm the third car back from an accident. No, it had just happened. And I was the third car on the scene after the accident on this side of the road. And I wasn't sure what to do. I couldn't really see what was going on. I saw people running everywhere, so I'm thinking, well, maybe things are okay. And I knew I need to get out of the way, so the emergency vehicles that are going to be here soon, I'm sure, saw people on the phones. I knew they were calling 911. So I thought, let me just see if I can inch around the traffic, get around the wreck to get out of the way. And so I inched around. Well, people were trying to cut me off coming from the other direction. They were just in a hurry to get out of the development. I'd come up on a housing development. It was just one of the things where I was scared to inch forward just to get around it because people were just out crazy, like trying to go around it coming into my lane. So I get on the accident. I'm trying to pay attention to what I'm doing and not look. And I saw a black motorcycle, huge black motorcycle in a car, and the black motorcycle was under the car. And apparently the driver had pulled out of the development to make that left turn and did not see the motorcycle going this direction. And I guess he was going very fast because it had dented in. He hit her so hard, he dented in the whole front of her car and was underneath her car. I didn't see him, but I saw people running around everywhere. So I thought, gosh, maybe it threw him. Maybe he's okay. So I inch around the car and I get a little ways away from here to the door, and I see a body on the side of the road. No head, no blood everywhere from his head. So he must have hit the car, flown over the car, and landed on his head. And he was dead. It was a fatality. Some of y'all may have seen it. People were going crazy, running around, didn't know what to do, standing in a circle. The young girl, she was probably about 20, maybe 21, who had pulled out in front of him, was just screaming. She was hysterical. And all I could think about in that moment was 2 lives gone. Her life, because more than likely, she will go to jail, prison, for negligent homicide, for not paying attention and pulling out in front of someone, and his life gone. And of course, I was a basket case at that time. I started crying, Jesus. Shiloh was behind me. I called her. I was nervous. I was scared. Instantly called her. I'm like, are you okay? And she's hysterical, crying. And so I said, let's just pull into the house and we'll figure out if we're going to go eat. I was nauseous. I didn't want to eat. She gets in the car with me, and all I could say was, oh my God, what happened? And she said, Mom, all I can think about is that young girl too. She's got to live with that. She just kept saying, what do I do? She was screaming, what do I do? What do I do? Oh my God, what do I do? And Shiloh said, we're just distracted. We live distracted lives. We get in our car, we check our phones the entire time we're in the car. We're getting notifications constantly. We're thinking about someone else. It's distraction. 20, 21 years old is going to go to prison for depends on what kind of attorney she's got, how much money that she's gotten, how much money the other family has, and what kind of legal, her life just like that, because she was distracted. And I just felt God say to me, we live in a culture that we are so distracted. We're so distracted that we're not paying attention. We can't just get in the car and turn our phones on silent and just turn the radio on quiet and chill. And I really have felt him driving that home to me the past couple of weeks. Dee, slow down, become still and peaceful. You can't hear me, you don't feel me. You don't even know when I'm moving anymore because you're so busy. You're addicted to busyness. You think you're awesome in doing something. If your life is constantly full from the time you wake up in the morning, if you're sit in your chair, you feel, am I the only one that feels bad when I sit in my chair for a couple of hours and read a book? Am I the only one that feels guilty? I feel like I need to get something done. Oh my gosh, I can't be sitting here. I got to go do stuff on my to-do list. No. What does the Psalm 23 say? He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. And what happens with that? He restores my soul. So this morning I come to you sad because of 2 lives somehow in the distraction. And I don't know, yesterday when I went into work, the guy who died was a friend of one of the co-workers. One of her co-worker's sister was a friend. And they're saying, that he was traveling at a very high speed on the motorcycle. But all I could think of was, wow, isn't that crazy? We're always in a hurry. Ever realize that all of your worst moments in life happen when you are in a state of hurry? We live in over-busied and digitally distracted world of speed and the relentless pursuit of more. This pursuit is fueled by rapid advances in technology and social media companies. Their number one goal, and this is statistics, their number one goal is to consume as much of our time and conscious attention as possible through social validation feedback loops. It's what they call it. Social validation feedback loops. Example, buttons, pop-up ads, comment boxes, etc. Push this button if you like this. Yes or no, push this button. If you agree, which one? Push this button. Pop-up ads constantly. Comment boxes, what do you think? They call it the social validation feedback. They are giving you validation. And whoever you're clicking on and commenting is getting validation. Who is not getting validation? Him. Why? We don't spend any time with him. We're too busy. The effects of this hurried pace of life has destroyed our ability to, number one, concentrate. How can you focus when there is so many things to get done? Multitasking and distraction is now the norm as we are constantly bombarded with notifications from our devices. How many times have you been distracted while sitting right here in this class? Thinking about what I have to do, what needs to be done. Can I take a 24-hour sabbatical? When I mentioned a couple of weeks ago of everybody turning off their phone at 6 o'clock one evening and back on at nighttime the next evening, literally, it was like watching a haze go across your eyes. I was like, literally told my husband, wow. I lost everybody for about 5 minutes as y'all tried to figure out how in the world can I turn off my phone for 24 hours, all social media, and spend time with my immediate family. Do I even want to spend 24 hours with my immediate family? Oh my God, help me, Jesus. Literally, I saw it. Thinking, oh, okay, it has to be all about my husband for 24 hours. We got to talk about whatever you want to talk about. We're going to do whatever we want to do together. No social media, no answering the phone. It's not about our kids. It's just about each other. And I thought, we will never make it to church on Sunday morning. Yeah, literally. But I'm reminded, God just kept reminding me, Dee, what doth it profit you if you gain the whole world and lose your soul? What have you accomplished? I've spent my entire life in ministry, my dad's a minister, of running and gaining my entire world, my community. Come on, come to church with me. How can I help you get closer to Jesus? But in the process, I've lost my soul. Who I am, the stillness, the quietness that I spend with him. And it is true, I watched my siblings with what my dad is going through. I literally watched them as they begin to struggle with abandonment issues that had been in their life from the time that they were children. And my dad is amazing. He's a phenomenal man of God. Everybody who has ever met him would say they love him. He can pray. He's an intercessor. There is power in his words. But his children have abandonment issues because dad spent his entire life saving the world. And all his kids wanted was 24 hours of quiet time with daddy. So now my dad has leukemia, and now everything is stopped. The churches, whatever happens to the churches, God will take care of the churches. All of a sudden, God can take care of it. I want to spend time with my family and my children. Yeah, so he's shaken my world, and I have said, I can't save you. I cannot save you. I can't be your God, the parents you don't have, the kids you don't have, the family you don't have. He can only be that. He can only be that to you. He can only be that to me. And so I've started pushing back and rethinking what I'm doing and saying, God, speak to me. Let me just sit here If I don't make it to prayer on Saturday night till 6:30, that's okay. I'm just going to sit in his presence and let that sweep over me at the altar. I don't have to get into intercessory prayer. I just want a stillness. That stillness that you lead me into, the green pasture that you let me lie down in. We're not concentrating. We're not contemplating. How can you waste time in prayer contemplating what you need God to do, or how awesome he is, or what he's already done, when the to-do list is so long? A deep spiritual life seems impossible in today's culture. C.C. Lewis's spiritual director said, "Hurry is the death of prayer and only impedes and spoils our work. It never advances it." Hurry only impedes and spoils what you're trying to do. It never advances it. It is the death of prayer. Rest. How can you take a day off when you're behind on so many important things? The Sabbath day has been practically eliminated by our culture. Workaholism, or just non-stop activity, is prevalent, as seen. Think about this. Non-stop activity in your life is seen as a sign of importance. I have literally heard people bragging, "Oh, I spend 60 and 70 hours a week at work." I have said it. I work 40 to 50 hours a week. I get one day off. I'm cramming everything I can do in my bragging about it. Like, that is amazing, that it makes me awesome because I work 50 hours a week. It makes me crazy. Nothing awesome about telling someone, I'm just going to look at you and say, stop. I know we've got to work. We have 40, but we need to go to work, do our job as best that we possibly can, and walk out and leave it there. Because in the long run, it don't save your soul. Busyness is now the new social virtue. We can't even have time to be healthy. We have become, perhaps, this is crazy, the most emotionally exhausted, psychologically overworked, spiritually malnourished people in history. Instead of finding healthy ways to rest, we engage in escapist behaviors. Example, alcoholism, drugs, Netflix binges, porn. Yeah. We are spiritually malnourished, and it's getting worse. Here's the solution. Jesus offers us a different life, a slower pace and simpler life around what really matters. C.S. Lewis said, "To walk with Jesus is to walk with a slow, unhurried pace." You never hear in the Bible where he was running his disciples. Come on, hurry! We've got to run to the next place. In the Bible, he's sitting with Mary and Martha in Lazarus' house. When the woman who came down and broke the alabaster box, he was sitting in a group of disciples. When they let down the man through the roof, he was sitting in the midst of people. Taking time to lower our pace, lower our levels of anxiety by being quiet. I'm going to say this first. In order for us to live the life of love, joy, and peace that Jesus desires so deeply for us to experience, we must eliminate hurry. Hurry is the great enemy of the spiritual life in our day. You must ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life. There is nothing else. You have to be intentional about it. 4 practices, and this is how we're going to be intentional about unhurrying our life. Silence and solitude. Jesus often took time for silence and solitude. He even got away from his disciples by getting on a boat and going across the water to be alone. We must follow the Master by finding external environments of silence. That quiet place. We have to find a quiet place. I'm going to start putting you on the spot and asking you, where's your quiet place? When's your sabbatical? Because if I don't hold you accountable and you don't hold me accountable, we will never make it. I have a weakness of staying busy. So I need to be able to say to you, Colton, when is your 24-hour sabbatical? When does it start? Joshua, when is your sabbatical? When do you turn off your phone? Do you turn your phone on in the car? Or do you turn it off when you're in your vehicle? That needs to be something that you and I look at each other in the eye and ask each other. Have you had a sabbatical this week? Where is your quiet place? What do you do in your quiet time? What have you done with just you and your family this week? I refuse to let the culture of my world infringe on my family at Christian Life Center. You are my family. You are my brothers and sisters. And we have got to get through a crazy culture. It is the end time. It's the reason why God said, forsake not the assembling of yourselves together, even the more so as you see that day approaching. I've heard you don't have to go to church, you don't have to meet in groups. That is not biblical. It is a lie from Satan. Of course he doesn't want you to be here this morning. Why? Because he wants you to be too much in a hurry, too busy. Just, you don't need to go there. You can pray at home. Really?
That's true. Yeah.
Really? How often do we really pray at home? Close it off, the amount of time we spend here. Well, I got here this morning at 8:30, almost 9 o'clock in the morning. By the time I leave, it'll be 2. I do not spend that much time at home in my safe place, in my quiet place. You do here. No, you forsake not. Why? Because I need you to hold me accountable, and you need me to hold you accountable. Why? Because we've got to make it to heaven. Isn't that where we're going? And what we're doing? The Sabbath. And of course, I've been talking about this. I want us to have a 24-hour Sabbath day. We think that means you come to church on Sunday. That's the Sabbath day. Sabbath in Hebrew means both to stop and to delight. What? The Sabbath means to stop and to enjoy the stopping. What? Our Sabbath rest. It's an imitation of the creation story in Genesis. When we step back and say, today is my day of rest, we are following the example of the Almighty Creator when He created us and then took the Sabbath day to rest. It must include both stopping all forms of work, because we must resist. This is why He did it, because He wanted the Hebrew children to resist being slaves to Pharaoh and his empire, the culture of more. They had become so involved in Pharaoh's life in Egypt. I got to have more brick, more, do this. They would beat them. Got to have more. We have to have more. They were so wrapped up in that culture that they did not know what it was like to put the brakes on it, to stop and to delight for 24 hours in their Creator, the one who brought them through the Red Sea. Think about it. We're so busy in Egypt. So busy. He brought us out of all of that. But we are so busy, we don't remember the day or what it felt like to not have that heavy weight, to know what it was like to leave all of that junk at the altar, to know what it was like to go down in the water and Him wash us over and we come. I was 7. Standing on a little red chair in the baptistry. But I remember it like it was yesterday. But how often do I think of that moment when He led me through the Red Sea and I came out on the other side saying, whatever you want from me, lead me. I got so busy dragging Him with me He was no longer in the front of me leading me because I was so busy. It's important that we set aside. I'm going to challenge you. If you're part of the CLC family, I'm going to challenge you. I'm literally going to say, let's go down the road. When was your Sabbath this week? When was your Sabbath this week? Did you turn your phone off? Because it's important that we do it. We've got to delight in the important things of life. God, family, nature. I live at the beach, and I have been one time this year. Since God blessed the Sabbath day, it's intended to be life-giving for us. Ask yourself, what Sabbath day activities will be truly life-giving for my soul? And do those. Remember, God commanded us to do this, so take it seriously. Simplicity. Now, this is hard for us as Americans. Jesus proposes an entirely countercultural view of wealth. Whereas the American society views happiness as making lots of money and owning lots of stuff, Jesus promotes simplicity as an essential part of happiness, in which we remove everything that distracts us from what matters most in life. Simplicity is essential for rebelling against the culture of more that fuels the hurry disease. Simplicity also adds free time to your life, creating space for silence, solitude, and Sabbath rest. What if you went home today or this week and got rid of everything in your house that you have not used in the past year? Colton, your dad cannot listen to this one, okay? Because he will empty my house and my garage and my closets of everything that's in there. So no, he does not get to listen to this one. But I have started doing that. I went from a 7,000 square foot home to a much smaller home. And I wanted to take everything from the big house and put it in the tiny house. So now my garage is full of stuff that I should have gotten rid of when I left the big house. I have gotten rid of a lot of stuff, really a lot of stuff. And now guess what's happening? I am finding myself getting irritated when I go by a counter and there's stuff on it. I don't use a mixer. Somebody told me the other day I needed to do a dessert for tomorrow on 4th of July. And I'm like, okay. And they said, we'll find you an easy recipe. So they found me an easy recipe, but I'm like, I have to mix with a mixer. Is that thing? It's not the big ball thing, right? Because I don't have that. Is it that thing that has those two little, that you sling stuff everywhere with? That's what happens when I use the mixer. Like, it never works out. Whatever's in the bowl comes out of the bowls on the walls, the cabinets. I don't know why, I just can't see. I don't know if I do it too fast. I want it done now. I'm in a hurry. So I said, no, I'm just going to go by Publix, and they're going to make me this amazing dessert, and I'm going to bring it, because mixer, I got rid of everything I didn't use, and everything in the kitchen is gone. I have a stove. One of the burners don't work. I can never remember which one it is that don't work because I don't use it enough to know which one doesn't turn on. They're like, you need a new stove. I'm like, that stove is fine. I don't care if it's 20 years old. I don't care what they did with it before I moved in here. It's fine. It boils my eggs. Good. We are good. So I've started getting rid of stuff I don't use, literally, off of counters and cabinets. The culture, and I work in anthropology, so the culture of anthropology is to have all this stuff. Like your books, you need to stack 3 books, and then on top of the 3 books, you need to have a platter that with some greenery in it. And then beside the 3 books with the platter, make sure you put a candle. But you might want to put the candle inside of a hurricane lamp because it just adds a little bit more to it. And then you might need some candlesticks that stand up behind the planter and the 3 books and the things, and then the hurricane lamp with the candle inside of it. Oh, but wait, now we have to have those tapestry candles that fit inside the tapestry candle holders that go beside the 3 books with the planter and the plant and the hurricane lamp with the candle inside the hurricane lamp. And that's all on one table. And then we need to build floating shelves. They have to float so that we can put bigger holes in they don't need to have stands, they got to float on the wall. So we can add about 5 or 6 more cookbooks that we will never open up because we're going to Google and ask Siri, how do we fix that grilled cheese sandwich? But hey, we have 6 cookbooks on top. I forgot, they're called cookbooks. That's what you pull down to get recipes. Yes, they're called cookbooks. They go up on a floating shelf where you have a bunch of bowls you're not going to use, but they're all different colors because they're really cute bowls, and we're going to put those bowls there. And I think they're called latte bowls. But then we have the little mixer bowls that are a little bit smaller so that you can put your ingredients on in case you decide to use the 5 cookbooks that are on your 10 floating shelves. I'm exhausted. That nobody does. And if you turn the light and shine a flashlight, you literally will see cobwebs going from your one mixing bowl that you haven't used. I can guarantee it. And all of the pictures, if I was to walk into your house right now, y'all have gorgeous walls of pictures, and I was to take my finger and run it along the top,
Right.
I would only make it through one picture and come up with dust that's piled about that high. Because you're not going to clean it. So now you've got these little gnats thingies and more spider webs that are now going from here. You don't think you have spider webs? You want to find out where they are? Just leave a candle going all day long. Forget about it. Then come home and look at the black soot that's on those little spider webs. Yeah, I've done that too. So, we've got more stuff that we don't need, and I hate to dust. It doesn't make sense. Why would I put a bunch of books and candles and whatever that I have to clean, that I don't have time for because I'm so busy hurrying from one place to another? Are you exhausted? I'm exhausted. That's it. I got to go rest, y'all. I am tired just from this one adult class. Seriously, I am challenging you. Let's get rid of busyness. Go home this week. You're going to think about it. Everything you have sitting out there for decoration, unless you ain't got nothing else to do, and you pray 2 hours a day, get rid of it. Because it's taking you away from your time with Him. And He's sitting at the altar singing, I miss my time with you. Those moments together. I need to be with you each day. And it hurts me when you say, I'm too busy. I don't want Him sitting here at the altar waiting on me. But I'm too busy to ever sit down beside of Him and listen.